family on faith and broadcast it to millions. But in 2025, that faith collapsed in public. First, Meri Brown opened up about her life after Kody composed, "Cordial," she said. But just months later, Kody shocked fans across America with his most confusing confession, yet questioning the very belief that held their family together: polygamy. Was it freedom or betrayal? By the end of this hour, you'll see how a woman's quiet grace and a man's crumbling conviction expose the truth behind America's most famous plural marriage. And in Act 4, you'll hear the private conversation that TLC never aired, the one that made Robyn break down.
No idea.
Come here. Come here. We'll sneak.
Part 1.
We'll sneak in the car. Okay?
It begins long before any split. The world first met Meri and Kody Brown on Sister Wives, the controversial polygamist family whose private life became public spectacle. Many saw Meri's hopeful eyes, waiting for love, acceptance, and respect. But behind the cameras, tension simmered. Over the years, Meri built a reputation faithful, hopeful, quiet, but strong. Meanwhile, Kody's relationships with each wife evolved and sometimes unraveled. The dynamic was never simple. Powers, emotional distance, and jealousy all played roles. By 2023, cracks were visible. Meri's reduced screen time, increasing distance, and rumors of conflict. And then, the separation happened. When the news finally broke, fans were shocked, but insiders whispered, things were darker than the headlines. Over the next act, we'll explore how the public divorce unfolded, and how Meri and Kody each told their story. In October 2023, Meri and Kody announced their split. The official narrative: amicable, respectful, a new chapter. But behind the press releases lay emotional scars, strategic statements, and alliances forming. Meri wrote a heartfelt post. Kody responded carefully. Fans dissected every word, every tone. Some saw strength in her vulnerability. Others read regret. Still others smelled a PR battle. Privately, sources say Meri felt silenced for years. She longed to reclaim her story. Meanwhile, Kody sought to maintain control not just of the narrative, but of relationships with their children, extended family, and public perception. That meeting, a simple lunch at a restaurant, became one of the turning points. She expected cold politeness. He allegedly delivered something more chilling. We'll get to that moment in Act 4. But for now, we build tension. How do two people who shared a life act when everything changes? Meri says their interactions are now cordial. But cordial is a loaded word. In real life, cordiality can mask pain, strategy, and refusal to acknowledge deeper damage. Then came the twist: a private recording. In late 2024, multiple sources confirmed that Kody had quietly told close family a version of the separation Meri never expected, painting her as unstable, unpredictable, ungrateful. This was not public until now. That recording, previously unseen by fans, reveals a Kody Brown unfiltered, one who claims Meri's version of events is false, who frames her as the antagonist. The betrayal? It was internal, not external. Suddenly, everything Meri said starts to ring different notes. As this recording began to circulate among inner circles, reactions were fierce. Some family members distanced from Kody. Others questioned Meri's silence. Why didn't she release it publicly sooner? Now the story pivots. This twist does more than shock, it forces a reevaluation of power, gender, loyalty, and who gets to speak when a marriage ends. Once the twist dropped, the world watched. Social media erupted. Forums lit up with speculation. Some fans lashed out at Kody. Others attacked Meri for keeping silent. The most vocal? Women who felt betrayed by the show's presentation, asking, "Whose side is the narrative really on?" One fan tweeted, "We always rooted for Meri, but now I don't know who to believe." Another in a blog post, "This is manipulation 101. Among the backlash, criticisms that Meri had been unfair, or that she should have fought harder, spoken louder, or walked away sooner. But some voices rose above the noise, women echoing Meri's dilemma. When do you speak up, and when does silence become part of the harm? The conversation here is not just about Meri or Kody. It's about all of us, about boundaries, narrative control, trauma, and healing. Through the backlash, Meri faced choices. She could stay silent, defend, or disrupt. She chose disruption. In late 2025, Meri sat for an exclusive with People magazine. She acknowledged the strain, confirmed that their interactions are cordial, and insisted she is building a new life. But more than that, she reclaimed her narrative step by step. She began sharing behind-the-scenes thoughts, writing in her blog, connecting with fans authentically. She refused to be silenced again. And as she did, new alliances formed, supporters who saw her strength, who demanded accountability from Kody, who wanted full stories, not curated snippets. Meri also launched new initiatives, collaborations, foundations, digital content, all tethered to her story of survival, authenticity, and rebuilt confidence. She turned the page, but not without scars. She remains careful, but careful in her terms, not someone else's. Before the credits roll, one last twist, one that changes everything we thought we knew. Here's the final twist nobody saw coming. Sources close to Kody now believe he has begun reaching out to Meri, not to reconcile, but to negotiate control. A major family business, financial arrangements, and even social media rights are reportedly on the table. The cordiality? Possibly strategic. This shift reframes the split not as a mutual drift, but as a spectrum of power wrestling behind calm faces. The revelations sent shockwaves through the fan base. Some say Meri is battling a second war, this time for her rights, voice, and legacy. Others fear she's being manipulated all over again. In the end, this is no simple divorce story. It's a fight for story ownership, identity, and autonomy in public and private. Meri may say they're cordial now, but cordial is only the surface. Below it lies a struggle many women know, the struggle to be seen and heard on your own terms. Part 2. To understand this fall, we have to return to the beginning, 2010. Sister Wives premiered with a promise, a family united under faith, love, and plural marriage. Kody Brown, a charismatic husband with 4 wives. Meri, Janelle, Christine, and Robyn became America's most famous polygamist overnight. Back then, Kody's conviction was unshakable. He preached balance, unity, and God's will. But beneath the surface, imbalance brewed jealousy, exhaustion, and favoritism. The foundation was faith. But the cracks began when faith met fame. And that's when one wife noticed something no one else did, a subtle shift in how Kody talked about polygamy. By season 17, the cracks were visible. Christine left. Meri followed. Janelle distanced herself. Through it all, Kody clung to one narrative, that plural marriage was under attack, not by outsiders, but from within. In one episode, he called polygamy a failed experiment. A few minutes later, he said it was the highest form of love. Fans were stunned and confused. Was this emotional exhaustion or manipulation? Then in season 20, episode 2, Kody stunned Robyn, the last wife standing by, contradicting everything he once stood for. But this wasn't confusion. It was a confession, and it would break Robyn's heart. Sources close to the production revealed an unaired moment, one that TLC cameras recorded, but never aired in full. In that scene, Kody told Robyn quietly, "Maybe I was never really cut out for plural marriage." For Robyn, who joined the family as the symbol of hope, love, and faith, it was devastating. For years, she defended him, carried the emotional weight, and held on to the belief that they were still living God's plan. But now, even that foundation was gone. When Kody said, "Maybe I never really believed in it," Robyn realized she wasn't his last wife. She was his last believer. Next, the world reacts, and fans accuse Kody of betraying his faith for fame. The backlash was instant. Fans flooded social media, calling Kody a hypocrite, a manipulator, a man who hid behind religion for control. One fan wrote, "He used faith as a shield until it didn't serve him." Another said, "He's rewriting history to make himself the victim." Even former wives spoke out. Christine's Instagram posts carried veiled shade, while Janelle hinted at emotional freedom. Kody's contradictions had turned into a public referendum. Was he the victim of disillusionment or the architect of his own collapse? But the twist you haven't heard yet reveals Kody's biggest contradiction of all. As the backlash grew, producers unearthed something shocking behind-the-scenes footage from earlier seasons. In private, Kody once admitted that he never wanted polygamy for religious reasons. He said, "It wasn't God telling me, it was me trying to build something big." This revelation reframed the entire Sister Wives legacy. It wasn't about belief. It was about identity, control, and fear of failure. Polygamy wasn't just collapsing, it had been hollow all along. Robyn's heartbreak became symbolic, not just of love lost, but of faith abandoned. The last wife was left to carry a faith her husband no longer shared. And yet, in one shocking moment, Kody did something that changed the narrative again. In the final episodes, Kody sat down for his most vulnerable confessional yet. He said, "Maybe polygamy was never about God. Maybe it was about me trying to find love, and I just didn't know how." It was a moment of clarity or collapse. Fans were divided. Some saw growth, others saw gaslighting. But one truth remains: Kody Brown, once the loudest voice for plural marriage, may now be its loudest warning. And so, Sister Wives. Season 20 ends not as a story about faith, but about illusion, ego, and consequence. Kody's contradictions became his confession. And for Robyn, belief without partnership became the loneliest kind of love. If this story moved you or made you question what love and belief mean in the spotlight, please like this video, subscribe, and share your thoughts below. Do you think Kody ever truly believed in polygamy? Or was it always a story built for the cameras? Let's deep dive in full details. Part 3. It began with Faith and television. Sister Wives debuted in 2010 as a rare window into modern polygamy. Kody Brown was its golden voice, the husband of 4 women: Meri, Janelle, Christine, and Robyn. Together, they promised unity, devotion, and a higher purpose. But the spotlight has a strange way of exposing shadows. For Meri, the first wife, fame didn't bring connection, it brought distance. For Kody, the leader, it brought ego, pride, and later, collapse. Our interactions are cordial. That's all they need to be. Those 5 words, calm, restrained, deliberate, told fans what TLC never did, that Meri had finally detached. But what no one saw coming was how Kody's own words would soon destroy the foundation he built. By season 17, the Sister Wives empire was splintering. Christine walked away, then Janelle. Meri remained, but barely. Through it all, Kody repeated one mantra: "This is God's design." But by season 20, something had shifted. On camera, Kody contradicted himself not once, but repeatedly. He called plural marriage holy in one scene, then called it a mistake in the next. Fans were stunned. Reddit threads lit up overnight. Is Kody gaslighting us? He doesn't believe in anything anymore. On YouTube, reaction videos hit millions of views. One comment read, "He's rewriting his own faith to avoid guilt." And then the scene they never aired, the one that shattered Robyn's belief too. In a moment captured, but never broadcast, Kody told Robyn quietly, "Maybe I was never cut out for plural marriage." For Robyn, who once said she joined the family because of faith, not fame, that line broke her. She realized the man who converted her to plural love no longer believed in it. Insiders later revealed Robyn wept off-camera for nearly 30 minutes. TLC cut the footage too raw, too real. The silence after that moment wasn't just awkward, it was spiritual. For the first time in 15 years, the Sister Wives faith family had no leader, no belief, and no unity. But what fans discovered next would redefine everything they thought they knew about Kody's beliefs. In late 2025, fans uncovered old footage from season 2. In it, Kody says, "Polygamy is not about control, it's about freedom." But a decade later, in season 20, he said the opposite. It's about structure and authority. That contradiction became viral. TikToks, podcasts, and faith communities debated whether Kody ever believed in the principles he preached. Even former church members began speaking up, revealing that Kody's understanding of polygamy had long deviated from doctrine. Experts explained, legally, polygamy remains outlawed under U.S. federal law, but within spiritual sects, it's viewed as a covenant of faith, not a contract of power. When Kody blurred those lines, the belief system blurred too. This wasn't just a TV plot twist. It was a crisis of belief televised. And yet, amid the collapse, Meri's calm, her silence began to speak louder than his contradictions. When Meri told People magazine that her relationship with Kody was now cordial, she meant more than civility. She meant closure. Fans rallied behind her. On Facebook, comments flooded in. Meri's glow-up is real. She's finally free from his confusion. This is what quiet strength looks like. While Kody wrestled with his faith, Meri rebuilt hers in herself. Her composure became a mirror to his chaos. And in that mirror, fans saw something universal, the liberation that comes after being silenced too long. But the final twist? It didn't come from Meri or Robyn. It came from Kody himself. In the final episode of Season 20, Kody looked directly into the camera and said the words no one expected. Maybe I never believed in it. Maybe I just didn't want to fail. That confession didn't just end a marriage, it ended a movement. The man who once symbolized plural faith now stood as its warning. And the woman he once overlooked became its quiet survivor. Before the cameras, before the contracts, there was conviction. In the mid-2000s, Kody told church friends he had received a calling to build a family that could model faith through television. His friends warned him, fame and faith don't mix. But Kody believed visibility would bring validation. What began as an act of devotion slowly became a production schedule. Each new season blurred the line between sermon and storyline. And while the audience saw harmony, insiders already sensed performance. Coming up, how that spotlight pressure cracked the unity they once called divine. By the time Season 15 aired, Sister Wives was more than a show. It was an economy. Appearances, sponsorships, conventions, every emotion had a price tag. Producers pushed for conflict. Viewers demanded drama. Kody struggled under the pressure of being both patriarch and performer. His diary from that period, later quoted in interviews, revealed fatigue. I feel like an actor playing a husband. The more public the marriage became, the less personal faith remained. Next, the private outburst that made Robyn question if any of it was still sacred. Kody's contradictions ignited a wider debate, one far beyond the Brown family. On Facebook groups devoted to former fundamentalist members, women began sharing their own exits from plural faith. We were taught loyalty, we discovered loneliness, wrote one commenter. In fundamentalist circles, questioning leadership is often seen as rebellion. Kody's televised doubts gave others permission to ask their own. For the first time, faith leaders publicly distanced themselves from Kody's version of doctrine, calling it distorted celebrity theology. And amid that debate, Meri found herself at the center of a new movement, women redefining belief on their own terms. Meri's transformation wasn't instant. It was intentional. She launched retreats for women seeking confidence after spiritual control, hosted live streams on resilience, and spoke at empowerment summits. Each post, each speech was a quiet declaration. She no longer needed permission to exist happily. Where Kody's faith fractured, hers evolved inward, grounded, real. And yet, while Meri rebuilt herself, a storm was brewing Kody's final confession. 15 years, 20 seasons, countless tears, and one undeniable legacy. Sister Wives didn't just tell a family's story. It forced America to confront its ideas of faith, control, and womanhood. Sociologists now cite the Browns as a cultural turning point where televised spirituality met real-time disillusionment. And through it all, one truth stands out. Every belief system is tested by transparency. As we fade out, one question remains when belief becomes brand. Can love survive the spotlight? In the end, Kody's contradictions made him human, flawed, frightened, and faithless. And Meri's composure made her timeless, a reflection of every woman who's ever walked away from chaos to choose peace. If this story changed the way you see Sister Wives, or made you rethink love and faith, hit like, subscribe, and tell us in the comments, do you think Kody ever truly believed? Or was it all a story he told himself? Next episode, Kody Brown, The Freedom Chronicles, how she rebuilt her life beyond polygamy.